Public servants. I feel like public servants are really the class of people in our country that, when we say liberals, that's who we mean. When we talk about Americans, right?
Yeah.
Where it's kind of identity focused.
Yeah.
This doesn't necessarily mean if you're in the public service, you're like this, and if you're not in the public service, you're not like this. But the idea of like the public servants, and part of your public service is your identity. And so then queerness as a public service means you can be a queer and a cop, because that's also a public service.
Well, yeah, because there's that element of that kind of like middle class white collar situation where there is that dance of civility, dance of politeness, where
and like all the problems are done.
All the problems are done because you should have no problems at this point. You don't work a physically arduous job.
Yep.
You get paid pretty well. You'll have a nice retirement.
Yeah.
You can afford to rent comfortably, or you can afford a home.
And you kind of imagine everyone else does as well.
Because your life is kind of the baseline, I suppose, and you do assume your life is the baseline because, you know it can get better and you know it can get worse, but you don't presume that there's anything outside of like, the heights of, billionaire money or the lows of like complete like poverty.
Yeah. And
you don't recognize that like the person next to you could be living a completely different life too.
Yeah, a completely different, much worse life where like it's actually dangerous for them to wear a rainbow pin because of where they are at work.
Exactly.
Right? You hear this conversation again, speaking about American things, just because like more things happen there. There's lots of things to analogize. But with Juneteenth, which is the Southern holiday commemorating the freedom of black slaves or something like that.
Yeah.
Which become a federal holiday, and people kind of say, it means a bunch of black people can't get the day off, and they end up serving a bunch of white people who work in offices who can't get the day off, because federal holidays mean there's more business at low wage food service places. And that's the shape of the same argument going on here.
Yeah. It is interesting to see how you can kind of neuter aspects of yourself when you are in those spaces to like fit into a mold where it's like, oh yeah, so-and-so who works in the accounts department of our like, government office or whatever, is gay, and you can be like, oh, that's just like a fun fact about them.
That's just like a fun fact.
But the most important thing is that they are an accounts manager.
Yeah.
And they do money.
Yeah, exactly.
In the same way that like, Beverly does dragon boat racing on the weekends. It's that same kind of thing where it's like, you like someone's like, oh, did you know that he's got like
up the butt.
He's I was going to say he's got a collection of skateboards. I don't know.
Yeah, he's got a collection of skateboards, which he...
Yeah, and then, like...
All right, I need a...
anyway, all of this to say, let's fucking go.
I mean, people are entitled to their sexual proclivities. Let there be 1,000 blossoms bloom. But I ain't spending any time on it. But I ain't spending any time on it. But I ain't spending any time on it. Let there be 1,000 blossoms bloom. But I ain't spending any time on it.
Hi, folks.
Hi, it's just me. It's just me right here. Obviously, you'll all be listening to this, but right now, when Yanni says, hey, folks, she's just talking to me. It's just Kieran. Me, Kieran. Hey, Yanni.
And hi, Archie, wherever
he walked in and walked immediately back out.
Welcome back to Shouldn'ta, but you've already heard the episode. All right, bye, everyone.
Oh, what?
Thanks for coming. That's not right. That's not right. All right.
Wow, short and sweet. Let's go.
Let me try again.
All right.
Hi, folks. Welcome back to...
Also, that just fucking says thanks for come. Oh. I'm going to need you to send me that image. I'm going to need thanks for come.
It's a slideshow. You can find it on YouTube. Hey, folks, if you want to see thanks for come, you can see it on YouTube. But, hi, folks. Welcome back to the approach of the one with the power to vanquish the Dark Lord, born to those who have thrice defied him, born as the 7th month... dies. I think that's wrong also, actually. I think that's not correct. That's not what we're doing here.
Damn.
Let me try one more time. All right. Hi, folks. Welcome back to the return of the Messiah, Li Hong, who is going to save the world from descending into chaos. All right. I'm very excited, as you can see, because today we are going to be talking about Australian prophecies,
Oh, hell yes.
a spiritual shouldn't-have-come adventure.
This is very exciting. This is very, very exciting.
Yeah, I love future tellers in general. It's so brazen.
Yeah, and you've also like you've made New Year's resolutions to have more prophecies or
Yes,
whatever to
I
like
have.
foretell more prophecies.
I did that one year, and I got one. And
Yeah,
it was
you got
just,
one. It was
it was
pretty-
it was like, weird that one day I felt compelled to say Mikhail Gorbachev will die this year. And lo and behold, the fucking 93-year-old man died that year.
Crazy.
I don't think about him a lot.
No,
It's no reason that I predicted it.
that
but-
was the heavens touching you for a moment, being like, "Here's one for you."
And it's like, there's so many more important things I would have liked to know.
Doesn't matter. That
Like
was the
that-
one you
like,
got. You
to-
roll the fucking dice.
Imagine if at the start of last year I'd been like, Charlie Kirk is gonna be shot in the neck.
I'd be like, "Well, who the fuck's that? Why would I care?"
Okay. Well, anyway, it's brazen, right? The confidence, this or that event will happen. I have on good authority, that authority being the universe or the heart of the cards or whatever.
Hell yes.
The fear that drives people to support their country's military is currently articulated through a game theory balance of motivations and future contingencies. And that is just prophecy with a parasitic percentage. I've had the one successful prophecy in my life that we talked about, and I'm hoping to have more, but it's not happening. God's not telling me anything, and I keep being like, "Hey, tell me something," and He goes, "No."
It's like, come on, man. It's just like, why are you always knocking on my door when you want something?
Yeah, why
you
are you always
know?
knocking on my door when you want something? You never come by to chat. So I'd say most of the prophetic speech we hear is either about a war on AI, and sometimes it's about a war against AI, or would you go to war with an AI as a friend?
Damn, would I fight side by side with an AI? Oh, God.
Yeah, I just have a few headlines from different sources. There's Guardian, ABC, and Sky News, so you can see the difference in how this is being presented.
Great. Thrilled about this. Okay. So, first one is from The Guardian. AI scientist Ray Kurzweil, we are going to expand intelligence 1,000,000-fold by 2045.
Like, what are you we're going to expand intelligence 1,000,000-fold. Sure.
Hey.
By 2045. What do you mean expand intelligence? What's
Yeah,
that
hey,
mean?
what the fuck does that mean? All right, here's from the ABC is the next one.
No, sorry, this is news.com.au, actually.
Oh, news.com.au, gotcha. Google CEO says nobody is safe if this doomsday AI theory comes to light.
Sundar Pichai is out there, Sundar Pichai. But yeah, he's out there being like, we're all doomed unless we do AI the way that we want to do. And then on the Sky News psycho side of things, we've got...
Okay. Bill Gates says AI will replace doctors, teachers within 10 years and claims humans won't be needed for most things.
Yeah.
Bro, I give a fuck.
And he said that in an email to Jeffrey Epstein.
And he was just like, can't wait to come back to the island. How many more children can I fuck there?
AI will replace doctors and teachers within the next 10 years. Thanks, Bill.
The only thing humans will still be needed for is for pedophile islands.
That's the idea that Bill Gates is going to tell us, and we should trust him. This is like Sky News from the last year. So, a note before we continue. Prophecy is a word that's usually used with a very specific definition. I heard God tell me this. It's often very Abrahamic coded, though it's not exclusively so. I'm going to be using it in the very colloquial definition of, I know this event will happen for reasons you don't understand.
Got it.
We're going to spend a little bit of time talking about a future-seeing indigenous religious movement from a while ago, and while it doesn't fit the specific definition for many reasons, I think it takes the same enough shape to be part of the same conversation.
Makes sense.
But that much more intellectually stimulating discussion is going to be the second of our 3 sections today. After that, we're going to look at somebody audacious and modern. But we're going to start with the relatively silly milieu of Australian prophets. And first, we go to the name I've been teasing for a few weeks, Smith Wigglesworth.
Oh my god, whoa, here's something. The space between his nose and lip is actually quite far, but it is filled with a dense mustache. It looks like
One
a
of the biggest
broom.
ones. Yeah.
That's
an incredible mustache.
crazy.
Incredible.
He's done incredible work on that, I have to say.
Hey, you're going to have to do some incredible work being Smith, because he is a Yorkshireman.
Oh no, from Yorkshire.
Do you know what Yorkshiremen sound like?
Do they sound like... No, that's from Yorkshire. I don't know.
Well,
I don't
I think-
know how Yorks sound.
Let me...
Fucking Yorkies, they sound like this.
So, Smith, a British evangelist from Yorkshire, is apparently a very influential early Pentecostalist. He spent a lot of time preaching in much of the Anglosphere and Pacific, including obviously Australia, where he allegedly made a big old statement. Smith is really interesting to me because he's like a type of person who we don't see much of, which is someone who learned to read from the Bible.
Damn, okay.
Which isn't not a type of person that used to be fairly common. A lot of
Yeah.
people kind of mainly had the Bible as their book. But as an adult, from his wife, he learned to read from the Bible. He was like a turnip
Whoa.
farmer. Now, part of that, I'm sure, is the redemptive story of Christ.
Yes.
But I think that's not an uncommon thing. And I do think it would give you a very different relationship to words.
Yes, absolutely.
If, through God you learn to read, as it were.
Yeah,
If that's a
that
framing you
changes
have,
things.
right? Or if you can, even if that's just part of his story, it's a powerful idea, right?
Yeah.
So the prophecy's been told many times by many different sources. We're talking about something that happened a while ago.
Yeah.
So we're going to go to the account of Danny Nalia, who was a modern preacher who was speaking to Noam Armstrong, a now dead old pastor who had met Smith Wigglesworth in his prime, probably during World War II.
Okay.
According to Danny, Smith lay his hands on Noam and said,
Australia, you have been chosen by God. I don't think I can do a Yorkshire accent.
Look, that's fair enough.
Tough question, Jeffrey, wasn't
It's a tough question, Jeffrey.
It was simple.
Australia, you've been chosen by God for a great move of the Holy Spirit. No, I can't do it.
All right, just read it normally then.
All right.
Folks, imagine a Yorkshire accent.
Imagine a Yorkshire accent. I'm so sorry. It keeps merging into every other type of British. And
to be fair, they're mostly very similar compared to other Englishes.
I pride myself on trying to be as exacting as possible.
All right, well, Karen's going to work on a Yorkshireman character.
I'm going to work on this and come back to me in a few months and I'll have one ready for you.
All
okay?
right, but this is Smith Wigglesworth.
Anyway, for now, Australia. You have been chosen by God for a great move of the Holy Spirit. This move of God will be the greatest move of God ever known in mankind's history, and will start towards the end of the 20th century and move into the 21st century. This move of God will start a great revival in Australia, spread throughout the whole world, and usher in the second coming of Jesus. This will be the final revival before the coming of the Lord. God will raise up a man in Australia who will lead this move of God under the anointing of the Holy Spirit. This man will bow down to no one other than God. He will have tremendous favour in the nation of Australia. Bro, you can't be like, oh yeah, the second coming is going to be some Aussie cunt.
The second coming is going to be some Aussie cunt who will bow down to no one but God. And it's like, well, then what about Tupac? Only God could judge him.
What about Tupac?
What about Tupac, Yanni? So this prophecy is obviously very important for charismatic and evangelical Christians and
Yes.
Pentecostal Christians in Australia. I was speaking to a friend of mine who attends a charismatic church, I think he said, and he was very much aware of the Wigglesworth prophecy of the Great Southern Land.
That's crazy.
It's a foundational kind of thing for some churches, right? There's a lot of things going on here. So much it's so much so that I found no less than 3 theologians, so within the church, writing big pieces disputing the existence of the Wigglesworth prophecy, within the church structure. This isn't atheists being no, he didn't say that shit because prophecy's fake. This is the position, it's kind of gentle. It's hey, I know we're all waiting for the kingdom of God in Australia to usher in the Holy Spirit, and while that's definitely happening, I don't think Smith Wigglesworth did a prophecy about it.
That's so funny. that is really fun because you can't, because to deny something like that, to deny it wholesale, is to be just hacking at the foundation of the religion and being this shit be fake,
right?
So you have to be I'm not sure he was the prophet sent to us about this.
Yeah.
I think perhaps we should think about that a little more.
Exactly.
But it is happening. It's just maybe not what he said.
The papers did good sourced work, right? There was timelines and source documents, and not that I dove really deep into everything, but the couple of things I checked seemed like they made sense to me. Right? So it's this is something that was attributed to him after his death, probably, and also he made this kind of statement everywhere. He's a traveling preacher, right? So the combination of these two things.
So this is just his woo!
I love
Hello, Brisbane! You guys are the best city I've ever been to. This is the best show we've ever played.
When I saw J. Cole in Sydney in 2013 or whatever, he's like, "What the fuck is up, Sydney? This is the best motherfucking city in the motherfucking world." And everyone's cheering, and cheers died down. You hear a guy go, "You said that in Melbourne."
It's so funny because it's so true.
It's so true. Hey Archie, so there's a second prophecy that's also quite popular among, I think, like different churches.
Yeah.
This one's known as the Great Southland Prophecy, and it's attributed to a Portuguese navigator named Pedro Ferdinand de Quiros.
Ooh,
This
okay.
guy, in which he predicted a great southland of the Holy Spirit, and upon finding it, named it Austriala del Espiritu Santo, the Austrian land of the Holy Spirit, which includes a historical pun honoring King Philip III of the House of Habsburg, which in Spanish is Austria. So he's like accidentally named it Australia
Yeah.
after Austria because of the Habsburgs, is the idea, right?
That's fucking crazy.
It's fucking what? There's plenty of argument about whether Pedro ever even got his funky ass anywhere, and if he did, most people agree it was probably Vanuatu that
Fair
he was
enough,
on.
yeah.
And he believed it was connected to Australia.
That's fucking crazy. What are you talking about?
Yeah, well, it's just like if you imagine Australia to be roughly the size of Asia and Europe,
Yes.
then yeah. Anyway, so it seems like in the last couple of decades, some local Christian organizations have latched on to Smith specifically, and you can learn more about it at the website smithwigglesworth.com.
God, of course, he's got a website.
They
Fuck.
recently put out a book, In the Steps of Smith Wigglesworth, with an attached YouTube series.
What the fuck is this? In the Steps of Smith Wigglesworth, which is also just, I feel like I didn't talk about his name enough because I'd heard it already. But that's a fucking crazy name. You can't be like the Prophet Wigglesworth
I'm the Prophet Wigglesworth from Yorkshire.
from Yorkshire. I just feel like I'm doing Ringo Starr now.
You're going between Liverpool and Scottish, and
You
I think
know?
geographically that's correct.
It just doesn't feel right.
You got
for
to
some
it's a
reason.
calibration, right? You're basically like
Some of the vowels and consonants, I'm flipping
You're gonna-
around
and
too
you're
much.
gonna-
It's
you're gonna,
tricky.
like,
I gotta like
center on it.
Exactly that. But anyway, here are the 3 simple steps to enter the secret place.
Yeah,
with
there's a YouTube
insight
video.
from Smith Wigglesworth.
I don't have the steps. I don't have what the steps.
You don't have the 3 fucking simple
I don't have the
steps.
fucking 3 simple steps to enter
Fuck!
the
How am I
secret
gonna
place.
enter the secret place?
Oh, we're gonna have to ask one of the other prophets.
what the
to talk about.
fuck?
Unfortunately, Smith doesn't have that for us. Prophecies, right? They have
Yeah.
a risk and reward paradigm attached to their scope. A prophecy of small scope, like this event will happen to this person at this time, is extremely risky if you're talking about something improbable because it can very explicitly and quickly not happen.
Yes.
The reward for getting it right, however, is immense. See those animals who predicted World Cup games. They'll never have to work another day in their lives.
What was it? That fucking octopus?
Yeah,
Yes.
There was Paul the octopus. This is a different octopus. You want to read this headline?
Yeah.
No, the octopus you're thinking of lived a full life. However, this was a different, I think, Japanese octopus that predicted World Cup games.
I'm sorry, everyone. I had to stop for a moment because I read the headline like in my head before I started reading it, which is always like the worst thing for me to do. I have to just start reading it. But octopus killed for food after correctly predicting 3 World Cup games.
Yeah, you know, 'cause-
Rabio was a giant Pacific octopus caught off the coast of Obira, Hokkaido.
So there's a lot
And
of
you just fucking...
Well,
he
there's-
was a prophet. Are you fucking serious?
Profcopus.
This is literally the Jesus of octopuses. Like this is like
There are octopi. I think Paul ended up being really good. Although his record was something like
Paul's really
Well,
good.
his
He's
record
not
was,
a
like,
martyr though, is he?
16 of 18. Well, he also died like at roughly they lived for like 2 years. So Paul died not long after that, but just like normally. But
What do you mean they lived for 2 years and he predicted 18 out of 16 World Cups?
no, like the games in the World Cup.
Like the game.
I don't know if you know how a World Cup works, but when there's a
don't.
World Cup every 4 years, it's not just one game they play. Like there's all these countries that play against each other for like a month.
That's why I was like, well, what do you mean he predicted that many?
No one. I don't think anyone I don't think there's anyone on.
That means
any
we would have
animals
Paul
on-
predictions up like for yonks.
Yeah, no, you basically have one World Cup per octopus.
That's fucked.
But like, there's heaps, right? So what
Of
happens is
octopus?
there's a bunch of octopus around the planet and like a couple other animals that predict the first game, right?
There's just fucking psychic octopi out there.
Well, that's
allegedly.
the thing, right? A bunch of them get eliminated. It's like those games in pub trivia where you put your hands up and then eventually you're sitting down, right? Because like the first time around.
Except the part where you sit down is because you've been fucking killed.
No, it's because you were wrong.
Yeah, and
so
now
there's
you're
like
dead.
There's 100 octopus.
Sorry, you're right. The
50
winner gets to be fucking eaten.
50 of them go one way, 50 go the other way. If you get it wrong, you're getting eaten. If you get it right, you get to predict again until you get it wrong eventually.
This is
Because the spirit of God has left you.
You know, the spirit of God can only occupy a cephalopod for short periods of time.
Exactly. And so eventually you end up with Paul, who's the octopus who kept getting it right. As opposed to like, there's like rabbits, there's like seals, like dolphins.
It's like the groundhog or whatever.
There's a groundhog, there's a
predicts
dog.
winter, you know.
That's different.
Okay, it doesn't matter then. Doesn't matter then. I guess I was wrong. Yeah, no, don't worry about it. I'll shut up.
I'm just talking about the soccer World Cup mainly. Keep bringing this shit.
Wait, what do you mean there are rabbits that predict it?
You know, like some guy will give his rabbit like 2 different carrots, and one will have the French flag and one will have the German flag. And then if it goes for the German flag carrot, it's like, yeah, you know, Pedro the rabbit predicted Germany's going to win. If Germany wins, Pedro keeps the people's attention. And then he gets carrots the next day. One will have the Dutch flag, one will have the Somali flag, and then he picks the Somali one. And then the Dutch win, and it's like, oh, Pedro's not psychic. But if he gets that one right, then it's like, oh, more news is like, hey, this rabbit's got 2 World Cup games right in a row picking these carrots. So it'll be something like that. It's usually attached to like there's 2 identical bits of food with different flags on it. And then the animal picks one.
I can't believe...
What did you think they were doing? Just like saying their predictions?
No, here's what I was thinking. I can't believe that as a society, we are still just like a bunch of villagers like crowded around like a chicken on the street being like, what's he gonna do?
You know, it's funny. I didn't put it in there, but you are in good standing there. Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, the Iranian president at the
Yeah.
time, was like, Paul the Octopus is emblematic of the great decadence of the West.
On
He went on a big rant. Let me find it. All right. He's declared war on Paul the Psychic Octopus. This is from Vanity Fair in 2010.
Paul the psychic octopus.
Those who believe in this type of thing simply, as to what you're saying, simply cannot be the leaders of the global nations that aspire like Iran to human perfection.
You know, that's so
Basing
funny.
themselves in the love of all sacred values. Anyway, apparently he just kind of like kept saying it the whole weekend. The Guardian's piece on it is West spreads evil tentacles into Iran.
God damn it.
But yeah, so, you know, like, eventually you forget about all the ones who were wrong. And the one who's right is like, well, this guy was clearly right the whole time. That's kind of how prophecy works.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's how it has to work because you can't prove it until something happens. And, you know, a lot of things have to happen for you to be able to, be like, oh, wow, I guess he was right the whole time.
And through these animals, you can see the risk-reward paradigm, right? It's very unlikely that you're going to keep getting things right, let alone once. So a prophecy of very broad scope, like an event will happen to someone or someone's at some point in the future, that doesn't have the same risk, right?
Yeah.
But you're also not going to get the same immediate reward. There's not going to be like articles about you.
Yeah.
In the same way. You need to have the backing of someone who's going to keep paying you to do it because your prophecies fit their goals in some way or another. And if you repeat them over and over again, for many people it becomes true. For AI, this is like Google and Microsoft and, you know, Jim Chalmers from the Australian government. This is Jim Chalmers' Guardian prophecy about AI.
Opinion piece. Australia shouldn't fear the AI revolution. We can turn algorithms into opportunities.
God told him.
God told me, in the same way that God teaches about chiropractic, God has taught me that AI will crack the necks of our children digitally.
Digitally crack your children's neck. Protect your neck with chiropractic.
Nice.
So I have to imagine sports betting is driving the like psychic octopus stories, Like, I have to imagine there being like, well, if people...
That's a pretty substantial part of it, yeah.
If people
for
think
sure.
the octopus is right, they're going to be more likely to bet.
Yeah, so they'll be like, oh, we'll tune in to see, we'll go to the fucking octopus's Instagram or whatever and
You're
see what
allowed
he's
to-
posting.
Exactly.
And be like, oh, shit, he reckons it's, it's Germany.
Or they
So
pay for it to
bet
be on like
fucking Germany.
the news.
Yeah.
You know, just like, hey, everyone. Like, I don't want to come out here and say I agree with Mahmoud Ahmadinejad about anything. I don't really know about that guy. But I think he's right about the octopus being, like, not a good sign.
What do you mean? We're just doing, we're just doing that fucking shit like the old Roman shit or whatever, where it's like, yeah, you see an eagle carrying a snake and it's like, oh, we're going to lose the war.
If you see an eagle carrying a snake, something, like, you should pay attention to it. I think that's important. You should know if it's coming towards you or flying away from you.
Okay.
That's really important if you see people carrying a snake. Apparently for end times prophecy, the people paying for it to keep going is obviously like the church in some way or another, or interested parties.
Yeah.
Apparently many churches around Australia have a copy of Jack Burrell's 1975 book, What Will Become of Australia.
Oh, okay.
So what do you see in the cover there?
So on the cover here, What Will Become of Australia, it's a black and white map, and it appears that Australia has been, like, bisected through the middle. The top half, which contains, I guess, like, Queensland, Northern Territory, and, like, half of Western Australia, is shaded in black to match, what is this, Indonesia, Papua New Guinea.
Yeah, and that, if in the full image, it stretches all the way out to India.
Oh, great, cool, yeah, so they're just gonna be like Asian invasion shit. It's Asian invasion shit.
Something of that lines. It's a stretch to call it a book. It's like a glorified pamphlet. It's about 30 pages long. Here's an excerpt from the introduction.
What will become of Australia?
And this is, sorry, I should say, Jack Burrell's like, just like an Australian guy.
Got it, perfect. What will become of Australia? Will it be overrun with ruthless invaders? Will our property be taken from us? Will we finish up with a government which will make us part of an organised labour police state? The writer has received answers to these questions by direct supernatural revelation. It is hoped that there will be a sensible reaction to this revelation, and not the usual typical Australian attitude of, she'll be right, mate.
Yeah. So, Jack says that Jesus came down to meet him, Jack specifically, and then quoted the Bible at him, which seems strange. And then he has...
Could you imagine?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to interrupt for a moment. Could you imagine in any other context, like, you're meeting like a celebrity,
Yeah.
and someone's written a book about them,
And
they quote from that book
they
to
quote
you.
someone's biography of them.
Yes. Could you fucking imagine?
What do you even say?
What
to
do you
that?
do at that point?
So then he has this vision, right? He describes it as being like a newspaper map in which Australia was being filled with black ink coming from India to Australia and taking the top half of Australia. And this is the prophecy, right? Apparently, Jesus made sure to tell Jack that they would not get all the way to Ballina. So the part of Australia that's filled in is very precise, right? And Jack lives in Ballina, and it's like 30 kilometers north of Ballina that they get to. So it's like the top half of Australia with very specific points that it bisects. That's his prophecy. Like up to, I think is it Byron or Botany Bay? I think it's Byron Bay, but whatever.
It'd be Byron because Botany's in Sydney.
Yeah, so it was like up to Byron Bay, but no, like that's where so he doesn't.
What?
So he's very smart about not naming who the invaders are. He says it could be Russians, Chinese, Japanese, or Islam, but I don't want to say anything until it's fully revealed to me.
This is the fucking Kanye lag. I'm not going to say it.
But it's Asians.
It's Asians.
Yeah, so, and soon, apparently. I've never heard anyone else try to tell this story. That's
Oh, dear.
the only time.
Oh dear. Yeah, tomorrow when the war began really was
This.
yeah, just being like, hey, what if there was like a violent Asian invasion
Yeah.
and all the good white kids had to fight back? Oh, and one good Asian kid, just to prove that we're not racist. But he's one of the good ones.
He's one of the good ones. And I think tomorrow when the war began, we would call it Propheganda. It's a prophetic propaganda.
Love it.
Anyway, the rest of Burrell's book is kind of what you'd expect. Australia splits, north-south. They go to war, the north and south. The south becomes a communist police state. There's evil rules. People get demonic powers. There's famine. Australians are living in sin. But if we start the Grand Christian Revival, perhaps we can stave it all off. And it's in general, like, just take that as given for any religious prophecy. We can stave it off.
I want to live in a communist state and have demonic powers. I don't know.
I think we'd be north of it.
Yeah, but I want.
Oh, you want to be in the south?
I want to
no,
have
no, no.
demonic.
It's the communist
powers.
The leaders have the demon powers.
No,
and they use them
come
to
on.
like.
Well, that's not communist at all, is it? We should all be able to share the demon powers. I want to turn.
Yeah, there's another thing about like, but the north is still where agriculture goes. So like, the north is like an evil Asian communist state, and the south is an evil Anglo communist state.
So this guy's just like, I predict communism everywhere. Unless.
Yeah, that's basically what he's saying. You can take that as given for any religious prophecy. We can stave it off if we become Christian. Meanwhile, John Marsden of the Tomorrow book said that kids wouldn't get bullied if they just westernized. I don't know if you know about it. He ended up becoming a guy who opened schools. That was his like thing later in life. Anyway, so Jack died not long after his prophecy in the 80s, still working odd jobs alongside his ministry, probably banging on about the great threat from the North or the Asians or the communists or whatever. But he should have been focused on the demonic spiritual authority currently reigning in Melbourne. And if he wants to learn more, he could join the Heartsong Prophetic Alliance training school and do their online course about prophetic journaling. Their Create and Sell Your Journal and Notebook on Amazon course could have helped him quit his stupid farming job or whatever. And the Kingdom Creator Lab will help you build, launch, and thrive online with God-given strategy.
What?
It is my pleasure to introduce you to Roma Waterman, a crafter of innovative training tailored for diverse roles from pastors and leaders to entrepreneurs and creatives. Well, Christianity's really different these days.
Why does that look like a fucking shitpost? I saw angels with treasure chests coming down from heaven.
That's one of her prophecies. And then it's this long prophecy about how she saw angels with treasure chests coming down from heaven and going to, like, Sydney.
I'm mentally ill too. I don't fucking brag about the shit I see.
So Roma is one of many in the world of professional Christ educators that are like in the minnows of the mega church movement, right?
Yeah.
So it's professional, it's corporate, but if the world of Hillsong is like too loud and mainstream for you, there's plenty of these bespoke spiritualists who offer like Zoom courses. I mean, this isn't just in religion, right? Much of the art economy is centered around these real estate ass courses, right? Like Zoom courses to take your art to the next level. Shit like that.
Yeah, or even just like those personal development ones where it's just like sort out your life in these 3 easy steps. You just have to attend 15 meetings and they are $50 each.
Right? Like, and that's everything.
Yeah.
That's some groups. But they're like, here's the newsletter sign up from the Cairns-based prophet Danielle Dixon. It's like, I'm not filled with spiritual energy looking at the lack of contrast between the text and the background.
No, also this
is gone.
looks like something from pedestrian.tv.
I think it actually is the same texture. I do think they've used that texture before.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm signing up to learn about the coolest new jeans.
You know?
It's like slop marketing.
Yes.
Having a browse through the Australian Prophetic Council's Facebook page, which seems to double as their website. It's definitely mostly white women running these ministries, and then there's a couple of husband and wife teams, and then there's the odd charismatic colored man. As the world of sales is the world of toxic positivity, the Australian Prophetic Council tends to share, like, love and happiness for all, fear not, heaven is coming style prophecies for, like, frightened babies. For instance, here's one from Danielle Dixon, who made this wonderful newsletter sign off.
I saw the Lord seated at a table with a fork and a knife in his hands. Before him was a map of Australia, and he began to cut it into sections. I had the impression each portion represented a different movement. As he cut each portion, he joyfully ate it, savouring each bite. What?
Now just remember, this is being directed ostensibly to adults.
I watched as the Lord devoured each piece, licking his fingers and declaring, taste and see. The nations of the world will taste and see the Lord is good in this nation of Australia. Girl, did you eat cheese before bed and had like a weird fucking like dream where you were like, I wish I was eating more cheese and I wish I was God eating the cheese of Australia?
Yeah, I think that's what happened. This is for like adults. Like, this is like, you're meant to be an adult reading this. This isn't for like kids.
That is one of the things that I personally find difficult about religion, particularly growing up in like a Catholic school, Christian kind of like thing, is a lot of stuff is very like maybe down to lowest common denominator kind of shit, where it's just
Yeah.
like you want a child to be able to see this and be like, wow, and then adults will just have to believe that too.
Yeah, that's the thing.
You know,
It's like,
it's as if the only books we ever get are storybooks, like picture books.
Yeah.
And we all just have to decide that that's the only type of book that anyone can have.
yeah, we can't do anything more than picture books.
Yeah, it's just got to be picture books.
It's so baby coded, and the toxic positivity in general is baby coded. People who are like putting cotton ball in their ears, being like, I don't want to think about the terrible structure that's led to my life. Everything's good, and it's all good, and
Yeah,
God's
well,
coming to save us as well.
You know?
Roma does this too. She's most of the time like a run-of-the-mill smiling prophet. Like, she's very silly. At one point she says the reason everybody's unsettled is because we're coming into a 10 times jump rather than a 2 times jump.
A 10 times leap is coming.
Yeah, she says
What the fuck is that?
she says there is an exponential leap the Lord wants you to step into that will be 10 leaps at once. And she's like, people were ready for like 2 times leaps, but actually it's like going to be a 10 times leap, and that's why we're all unsettled.
This feels like a reality show, like a Survivor style show, where it's just like, okay, guys, what we need you to do is leap across this gorge, and everyone's like, oh, okay, it's only like like it's about 6 feet. Like,
Yeah.
that's a big jump.
It's a big jump.
It's a big jump. That's gonna be hard. It's just like, also the gorge is 60 fucking feet, and the gorge just becomes
It just
bigger in front of
stretches.
their
Yeah,
eyes, and
yeah.
everyone goes like, what? We can't jump that.
But then
What?
but then they give you God, right?
Exactly, which is like a big rope, I suppose.
I guess a big rope.
to,
Yeah.
to jump over the gorge.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's basically that. And it's this kind of specificity with numbers that drew me to her a bit. Like, I'm going to read a bit more because she's like using a lot of numbers, and I'm
That's
always
fascinating,
interested,
yeah.
right? And so I'm
It's
very
risky business.
Well, I was very happy with that instinct because in 2022, Roma hit the world with her prophetic word from Melbourne.
Okay, prophetic word from Melbourne, Australia.
So it's going to be a 3-parter. And she's Australian, to be fair.
Yeah.
I think she's from Melbourne. But anyway.
I saw in the spirit an ancient door. A door that, when opened, allowed demonic spiritual authority to reign in Melbourne. I saw as intercessors prayed this door was sealed until the strongman was destroyed. Then I saw a demonic stronghold over Melbourne that is trying very hard to remain in command. It has been here for about 18 years and has grown in strength during this time. Please note, I am talking about a spirit, not a person, although obviously people can operate under this spiritual stronghold.
Duh. This was this was just after COVID times, and I was wondering like what it is that happened in Melbourne around 2004.
Yeah.
So I checked. It doesn't quite line up with Dan the Demon Andrews,
God, I was hoping so bad it would, though.
but it's close enough that I think it could be encompassed by about 18 years.
Yep.
And she's slick enough to not name anybody, but the comments made it clear that people thought she was talking about Daniel Andrews.
Yes, but then she can also deny it and be like, well, I mean, I didn't say that.
I'm talking about a demonic spiritual authority.
Yeah, and please note, I'm talking about a spirit, not a person, although obviously people can operate under the spiritual stronghold.
Obviously.
I said it exactly.
I said it before, I'll say it again. And that's how you keep making money as a preacher.
Yeah.
You can't really predict something or say something because that could be not true. And you can do that, but it's a different income stream.
Yeah.
You're then trying to make a mini cult.
Yeah.
Before we get into something serious, here's one more from the Australian Prophetic Council.
Let's go. All right. Tasmania, the gold nugget and glory awakening. All right. In the midst of the fire, I saw Tasmania become a gold nugget in the hand of the Lord. Tasmania, we decree you shall be a prophetic spark that ignites the mainland, and the great Southlands with unquenchable revival wildfire that roars as the kingdom of glory awakens the nations and reigns. Amen.
And if you could just read that top comment, which is the top comment on the post below it.
Yeah. Confirms what God has been speaking for decades now.
Really? For decades?
When?
He's been saying Tasmania is my gold nugget?
Tasmania become my gold nugget.
The gold nugget's shaped like Tasmania really badly.
Fuck, it is too. That's
Yeah.
kind of funny.
So it's bizarre, right? But all this was a lot of fun, but I think we've got the picture. Australian prophecy tends to be framed as like we're near the end of the good times, leading into a potential apocalypse, but through God, Australia, we can actually lead the world into heaven. And the movement's going to start in like Tasmania or Cairns or Vanuatu.
Just some crazy shit.
I can't believe all those people in Bateman's Bay were right about this being God's country.
You know? Oh, what the fuck? Fuck.
They were
Bullshit.
right. Roma says so. But if that's pre-apocalyptic, what about post-apocalyptic prophecy.
Okay.
From somebody who is living after the end times, after a cataclysm, about what the future might hold, if anything. So, the colonizer creates the native. Some would even say the colonizer creates religion. I recently learned about the work of anthropologist Talal Assad and spent a day devouring a bunch of interesting contentions about this topic, about discursive traditions versus what the imagined role of a religion is. But before the colonizer arrives from the mysterious far-off land, there isn't the native, and they don't have a religion. There's different groups of people living on the lands they live on and the ways they've lived on it. When the colonizer shows up with a vastly different method of doing things, extracting and exploiting and destroying, there become two groups of people, the settlers and the natives. Here's a painting depicting Eliza Fraser of the Old Name of Gari meeting the Butchulla people. And you can see this very stark dichotomy between like natives acting uncivilized in the background and they're very, very dark, and then Eliza Fraser and some other white man who seems to be like Julius Caesar coded.
A little bit, yeah.
The way his hair's fitting makes him look almost like Jesus, like the crown of thorns.
Yeah.
And
There is a nobility there.
Yeah, and in comparison, you have these, savages.
Yeah.
And the outcome of the settling project, the blood and violence, means that the life ways and thought ways of those who were here before the end are very distant to us. I mean, to you and me, Karen, we have nothing to do with them. We're so refracted by time and culture, by all of these colorful prisms we've taped to the walls. But to the greater us, if we say curious people, we are talking about a mode of living that was besieged so suddenly, so violently, and so intentionally that the process of gradual exchange that forms the bedrock of responsible anthropology is replaced by the agglomeration of the dispossessed into a massive discontent. This is the creation of the native, or the savage, or whatever term you use for the colonial, exploitable other. Eventually, you don't even need to depict them looming menacingly in the background. They're designated as a past, and the colony is designated the future. Now, here's a Australian tourism or like Australian settlement propaganda poster on the right there. On the left is a depiction of like Captain Cook's Landing, right?
Yeah,
and that's
yeah.
like the original depiction is they've got spears, they're not wearing clothes, and they're violent, and they're going to kill you.
Yeah.
And then once you've dealt with that, it becomes, what do we have on this poster here?
Well, here we just have like a kind of like a dreamy cartoon depiction of, I guess, a farmhouse and, a guy riding a horse, and there's sheep and there's, tractors. This is like a very idyllic, there's a lot of rich colors, and it says Australia, land of tomorrow. And there is no Indigenous people here whatsoever.
No.
It's just like white people, just as you were saying, just like using the land.
Exactly, right? So, and because this idea of the land of tomorrow, it's like we finally gonna get the land that we've been prophesized.
Yeah.
There's this idea of like, this is what the future's meant to be. We're all gonna have these big farms and it's gonna be white people.
Yeah.
So in the transition period, and by transition I mean the Bloody Frontier Wars, prophecy and its associated people group, the cult, crops up a couple of times pretty much wherever you see colonization. The term used in academia is millenarian, which basically means there is a massive change coming that will restructure the order of our world.
Yeah.
For a while, anthropologists, as it were, believed that Aboriginal folk here were an exception to that rule of colonization. The concept of the dreaming, which is terminology that had and still has plenty of critics, appears to the colonizer to exist outside of time. This fits in with the generic colonizer ideology of hierarchy. The natives, in their view, aren't able to think in the advanced linear timeline mode that the brave colonizing soldiers have because of, like, British boarding schools or Napoleon or chorizo or whatever.
Yeah.
Hey, did you read that story on The Guardian about how the presence of ham and bacon in Spanish food is a legacy of anti-Muslim and anti-Jewish policy during and after the Reconquista?
No, I didn't.
Definitely have a read. Pretty interesting. Anyway, so given the people doing the interviews are making those assumptions about, like in many cases, about the Indigenous people in question, we have like a few sources and it's missionaries, right? We basically have a poisoned data set when it comes to the thoughts of Indigenous people in the pre-colonial time, if we're going through like historical anthropology, right? So like smallpox killed so many people before much of the actual physical conflict started that anthropologists who tend to come after or with the missionaries are meeting people that have already like had that happen to them and then also been exposed to Christianity, right? They're being like beaten into being Christians.
Yeah.
And so you've already got a very different picture of what you're trying to understand.
Yeah.
And like people have already kind of been taught that the colonizer likes to hear the Bible stories, right? Like they're like, yeah, the colonizer likes to hear Bible stories back, and so they tell them what they want to hear.
Yeah.
Yes, we heard the word of the Lord.
Of course.
And
Because what's your alternative? Being fucking killed?
right, they're like, oh, you know, the natives magically knew about God, and they're all magically monotheists or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it means that they are seeing what's not necessarily there. They're looking for like a big guy that maps onto the Christian God, an
Yeah.
all-father type figure.
Yeah.
I read a funny story, and I lost it before I wrote down the source, but there was a story that there's one community that thought there were two Jesuses. There's the Catholic Jesus, who has a mother and a father. And then there's the, like, his father is God, but he has a mother and a father. And then there's the, like, missionary Jesus, which is, I think, Pentecostal.
Yeah.
Who doesn't have a mother and father. And these two Jesuses are in competition with each other.
That's incredible.
And there's different groups of people who are like, yeah, we have our Jesus. And because of how differently they're explaining Jesus,
Yeah.
they're just like, okay, so there's two Jesuses, and they're
Well, yeah.
in competition with each other. But I lost the source, so unfortunately I don't have anything else. But, like, you've got really confusing things to read. Because you've got people among the researchers who are trying to prove that Aboriginal people are indeed able to achieve a higher level of being, which sounds good at first, right? Except their higher level of being is monotheism. So they're like, see, these guys aren't idiots, they can be monotheists.
They can do what we're telling them to do anyway.
Exactly. So it's difficult for me reading now to like parse the layers of intentions, and that's what a lot of the papers talk about, is just
Yeah.
kind of going between the few sources and trying to understand them with their contexts. There's this whole story about Jinnaman Jesus, which is apparently there's an extant deity named Jinnaman who visits an Aboriginal Christian and reveals that he's actually Jesus, and he's going to help the Aboriginal people kick out the white people and then turn the Aboriginal people's skin white. It's like relatively contemporary, but the scant material I found was usually just arguing that one of the other sources was wrong. And so it's like, I don't know what's going on here. It was like a lot of dumb fan fiction fun. I had a look at a website I found called godchecker.com, which is your guide to the gods. Certainly, it says it's the holiest source. And the closest I could find for indigenous like gods was Chinnaman, who they describe as a...
Jinnaman. Murrinbata bat god. The sex-starved bat god.
Yeah, there's like stories. I don't want to get too far into, I guess, the mythology because it's so like messy, and there's plenty of places online where like indigenous people will explain this.
Yeah.
Here's the stats. So all the gods have stats on this website.
This is insane.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm looking at a Pokedex.
What's it? Look at his role.
All right, what do we got? Roll. It's a bat emoji. In charge of bats. Area of expertise, bats. You know, good evil rating, not okay in capital letters, comma, be careful.
Because they have like good gods, evil gods, and then like not sure about and like popularity. It's really strange. So whatever that is aside, there's an obvious question, right?
Yeah.
If you're part of a millenarian movement aiming to use subversive and spiritual tactics to kick an invader out of your land, would you even tell an anthropologist the truth?
No.
So, with all that in mind, we're going to look at some of the many answers to this question. These white guys definitely aren't leaving. What does that mean for us, and what do we do now?
Yeah.
You won't be surprised to know that the answer, a lot of the time, is we lock arms and fight back. As per the Gurunji elder and knowledge holder D&D Dunbayari,
Once Katia, whites, arrived, Aboriginal people stopped fighting each other because, with the new arrivals, they had bigger problems to deal with. And yeah, that makes complete sense. Obviously, this is as close to an apocalyptic situation as you could imagine. Is an unknown force has appeared and just like is going to fucking annihilate you, and you're like, how the fuck do we survive this?
like, obviously there's places, like, there's a lot of places that hear about what's happening before the white people get there. There's a lot of places that end up getting smallpox or whatever before the main thrust of the settler project reached where they were.
Yeah. Well, that was the whole point of half the the fucking germ warfare or whatever, was to just like, we'll just kill them all.
Yeah.
And we won't even have to use bullets or anything.
We won't even have to do anything once
just,
we figured this out,
fucking
right?
sickening, yeah.
Yeah, like a lot of the times half the community would be wiped out by the disease that's usually believed to be smallpox. Now, it might be chickenpox and it might be a secret third pox, but it's listen, this is an extremely contentious topic that I read summaries of.
Yeah.
So I'll explain what the summary said.
Okay.
There's 3 contemporary theories about how the first smallpox or whatever epidemic in 1789 reached the Eora people and wiped out like 80% of the women or something like that. The theories are the whites brought it in by accident, the whites brought it in on purpose, and actually it's from Indonesia. We're not going to speak about it further. I think it's a very ideologically divided. I think that actually it's from Indonesia is the conservative idea. But the debate is heated because it does feature a guy who brought a vial of smallpox from England.
Yeah, I did hear about
just
that.
in case.
Just in case, and yeah, no, that's fair.
Add in that only one person in the colony got sick.
Yeah.
And that guy was implausibly Native American. And you've got yourself
What?
a history war. Isn't that unbelievable? I don't know if they mean like Native American, like he was natively born in America, because the sources, sometimes they're quoting, sometimes they're like modernly re-reporting. As far as I could tell, the one guy in the colony who got sick was a Native American. And then a bunch of Eora people got sick, even though there was like, they were talking to each other. And so, have a read of that. My instinct is that it's like the settlers, like they did everywhere else, brought diseases with them in a combination of accidentally and on purpose.
Yeah.
Like, the average sailor is accidentally bringing in disease. I don't think he's thinking about it. I don't know if he really knows about it. He's probably just either sick or not sick. Like, the average fucking poor,
Dude or
like,
whatever,
actual, like, oarsman or whatever. Whereas, like, yeah, a guy brought smallpox with him.
Yeah.
That's weird. But by the time we get to the 1830s, when the second big wave of smallpox or something is running through indigenous communities, cultural practices had formed around it. It's been long enough that there's an idea, right? The most information I could find that collated about this was from a 2002 paper. They refer to the Bayame Wagana as the first nativist movement in Australia. So Bayame is often called a creator god or all-father equivalent in many southeastern communities. According to some sources, probably dodgy, smallpox ended up associated with the deity Tharawirgal, who's like a rival of Bayame, and he's angry that Bayame stole his tomahawk. The Wagana is like, it's a dance ritual, right? So they're going around, they're doing a dance that's telling a story of Bayame and Tharawirgal. And the missionaries are like noticing its presence without knowing what it is, so they write about it in strange ways, but they're usually like referred to as corroborees. This is a type of corroboree, which is a big meeting where you get and you dance and you talk, right? Ceremonial roles would usually be held by people who had survived an infection or seemed to be immune. And the writers make the point that given how, like, you do the ceremony after the thing has gone through your community, they seem to work. Because the people who have survived were probably immune in the first place. And so it's like, now we've done the ceremony, smallpox hasn't returned.
Yeah.
So it does seem to work. I don't know how true that is. I was like, conjecture, but, you know, an interesting idea.
Yeah.
But because of how far the disease spread and how many people died, these ceremonies would often be held in languages that the participants didn't necessarily speak.
Oh.
And because it's from so far away, right?
Yeah, that makes
So
sense.
this is part of like the colonizer creating the native. The idea of like we are all one in this way is forming, and like our previous language differences are being flattened down.
Yeah.
So the movement itself evolved from being smallpox specific to being more of a whole of culture resistance. There's a bunch of missionaries who report hearing prophecies that a lot of people, like, you know, in their communities believe. It's like there's a great fire or a great flood, which obviously raises eyebrows because it sounds like Bible stuff, but it's going to like wipe out the colonizers. The indigenous people are going to be able to survive. Often it's like you hear bits where it's like, well, that just sounds like Noah's Ark, where it's like, and all the animals are going to get on the hut as well. But then you can, I guess, interpret it if it's like, well, if that's what the missionary's hearing, is it something more along the lines of like, because the animals don't hate us in the same way that like...
Yeah, or is it, you know, the idea of like, hey, we're all from here.
Yeah.
The animals are from here. The
Yes.
people are from here. We survived this country through massive floods and fires. When it happens again, the invaders, the colonizers, won't know how to deal with it. The animals they've brought won't know how to deal with it, but we can because we're from here.
Yes.
And then obviously, like, the English are just like, Noah.
Exactly.
It's like, that is not what this is about, my friend.
Exactly.
But who's to say?
Well, there's like the whole thing about it feeding back, right? Like at this point, you've got people who might be 30 years old and like are indigenous, but like were raised Christian, not in a way they would have wanted to,
No, but this is like, hey, this has now been transplanted into you because
Exactly. And so
of...
you've got things reflecting on each other. Also, I think most cultures have some version of a flood myth.
Yeah, like every culture has a version of a flood
And it's
myth.
because every culture's probably survived
Because
a flood.
floods fucking happen.
Because of the water.
Because we live on a planet that's mostly water.
And you'll notice that
Be sorry
most
for real right
Australians
now.
live right near the water. Anyway, so
Hello, how are you? I am under the water. Please help me. Here too much raining.
the stories about Bayame himself, like there's stories about Bayame himself sending these floods. They're usually recorded as being because like he's mad that the white man took his wife. And eventually this will become known as the Mulunga Cult, which is defined in its opposition to colonization in general. They'd be like breaking into settlements, killing collaborators, predicting the end of the white colony, doing like dances, being like the whites will be cleared from this land in this or that way. The Mulunga Cult is a component of the Indigenous Resistance, which sometimes seems to be referred to as Kurungura, complete with a charismatic leader of sorts known as Boxer.
Boxer.
So, Boxer is he's a mysterious figure, right? And he's going to a lot of different corroborees, like those of the Mulunga Cult and the Bayame Wangana, and he seems to speak every language, and he shows up far from where he's expected to be. But he also grew up working as like a trusted insider on a large cattle station. Basically, white people being like, well, we don't actually know how to make this work. We should talk to like indigenous people to make it work.
Yeah.
It's often presented as much more idyllic than it is. It's still like a indentured servitude situation.
Yeah.
It's not exactly what is imagined when we're talking about plantation slavery.
Yeah.
In the sense that like Boxer and other indigenous people there seem to hold a lot of practical power of when things happened and where people would be. And so that allows him to sneak off for a while, like disappear for a while, being like, I need to go do stuff for a couple of weeks. You don't know what it is. It might be important.
Exactly, especially like if on a cattle station, that's your livelihood, that's going to be expensive if those cattle die because you didn't let Boxer go off and do whatever he needed to do.
Yep.
Like, it's like, okay, you're both kind of holding each other over the fire here.
Yes.
Because if they get too suspicious, he's done for. If they don't give him enough rope to kind of move, they're done for.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the like interplay of that leads to like a really fascinating story that we're not going to go into too much, but like, yeah, he basically like he disappears for a while. He comes back with a bunch of like less trusted people. They're like, oh, we saw like this person who we didn't want on our land. But like then by the time we kind of realized they were there, they were gone. You know, shit like that. And Boxer's message was simple. Join us or you're going to die like all the white people.
You know what? Clear, defined. He's
defined.
really said, look, no ifs, ands, or buts.
Yeah.
With us or against us.
It spreads pretty far in the end. Like it starts.
Damn, that's like a fucking huge chunk.
Yeah, it's like very like white people don't know about it. They're going through places where it's mainly indigenous people living.
Yeah. Well,
Conversations
obviously.
are happening at like borders of language groups and stuff.
Of course.
And as a like Boxer's a medicine man and respected leader, so he's like setting up detachments and military units and stuff. And the military units apparently are organized under like a totemic animal, and it sounds fucking cool. For instance, the dingo totem, right?
Yeah.
So like dingoes,
Yeah.
right? So they stay up late at night, they infiltrate the settlements, they like howl next to tents, they do little
Shit.
like small scale night raids, and like they howl to communicate across distances as well.
Yeah.
It's fucking sick.
That is really sick.
But if you're in a revenge unit, however, you're going to be covered in feathers doing like war things. Unless you're from the Tiwi Islands, in which case the revenge animal is a shark. Fucking
Oh, shit.
sick. They
Hell
made
yeah.
the call of a shark chasing its prey when killing people. What's the call of a shark? Fucking awesome. But for bird-style revengers, the most common totem in this context was apparently the eagle hawk, but the emu comes up too. And there's this sick sketch of a warrior with emu bush sprigs sticking through his septum piercing.
Oh, that is sick, actually. What the fuck?
And he's got him like tucked into like a headband as well, right?
Yeah.
And when you come back from the raid, if you're in the like the emu battalion or whatever, you would paint a number of black stripes on your body corresponding with how many settlers you killed.
Holy shit. That is metal as fuck, though.
And you're like covered in feathers and shit. Here's a lardil, which I understand is not the preferred term, so I'm so sorry, but this is how the source wrote it. A lardil man talking about what a Kayadlit warrior party would look like when they were approaching.
A great crowd of painted warriors would come along the low cliffs. Some were doing the dance of the Brolga, some the crane, some the seagull and barramundi. Each man was doing his own totemic dance, and they each carried a bundle of spears and boomerangs. They said, "We've come to kill all you mob." Damn, hard as fuck.
A bunch of motherfuckers dressed as birds coming to kill you.
Yeah, just being like,
With
oh, we're here to
weapons.
kill you. And it's like, fuck, I guess so, huh?
Yeah,
You've made a whole
absolutely.
production about it. I fully believe you intend to.
It's really, like, it sounds really cool, but obviously we veered very far away from prophecy. This is still spiritual matters, but we're no
Yeah.
longer predicting. So we're going to leave Boxer and the Indigenous Resistance for now, though we may meet them again when we speak further about Bob Catter.
I would love that.
Because I think one of the sources said Boxer was born around Mount Isa, but I got very confused. There's a lot of different sources, and sometimes they're contradictory. So, you remember that Smith Wigglesworth prophecy, which we heard about from modern preacher Danny Nalia, who heard about it from his preacher Noam Armstrong?
Yeah.
Well, in Danny's version, here's what happened next.
Okay. Then, according to Nalia, Wigglesworth had gone on to say that one day Armstrong would lay hands on this age-ending leader and pass on the mantle of God to him, and that Armstrong had then turned to Nalia and declared, "You are the man I have been waiting for so many years. Come here," and laid hands on him accordingly. Damn.
Let's slam our way into the present for our last little segment and meet a hilarious prophet, the absolute scammiest kind, a man of the I predicted it before it happened ilk, Danny Nalia.
All right. Damn. He's got his fist up. Nalia power.
Look at his tie.
Are they little Australia flags?
Yeah, his tie's covered in little Australian flags.
Yeah, and there's a guy with like a deeply regrettable hairline behind him.
Oh, yikes, that's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, so according to Danny, he was born in Sri Lanka to Tamil parents, and as a young man, he was converted or radicalized into Christianity by an Australian missionary named Frank Houston. Do you recognize that name?
Houston.
You might recognize him as the Hillsong pedophile.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
So after Danny spends some time as a seedy underground nightclub drummer, he then spends time as an underground preacher in Saudi Arabia, being saved from death and torture twice.
What?
Because it's illegal to be Christian there. It is between the hours of 3:40 a.m. and 6 a.m. on the 21st of July, 1997, and Danny Nalia has just met Jesus in Mecca, and Jesus has told him to move to Australia. However, he knew that he had a more immediate calling, to help Bill Clinton save the lives of Christians arrested in Saudi Arabia. After that, he kept traveling the world preaching Jesus, until Jesus woke him up again, this time at 5 a.m. on the 9th of April 2000, to tell him that he must go to Australia to stop the looming disaster.
Bro, so he got told to go to Australia twice.
Yeah,
through
Jesus had
holy
to tell him
means?
again.
That's crazy. I think that makes you a bad Christian. Like, I don't want to, like, let he without sin cast the first stone or whatever, but, like, bro, if you're being told twice, I feel like that's a fucking problem.
Well, and he
How
says,
faithful
like,
can you be?
he gives it very specific numbers, like 3:40 a.m. and 6 a.m. on the 21st of July. Right?
Yeah.
That's wild. So shortly after he arrives in Australia, he's found to have breached the law by vilifying Muslims, publishing a pamphlet asking his followers to pull down Satan's strongholds, which included, like, mosques, but also brothels and casinos and monasteries and temples. All that was part of his publicity for his 2004 Senate run with the extremely Christian conservative Family First Party.
Ugh, wonderful news.
The coalition ended up doing a preference deal with Family First, and Danny's pamphlet is a big part of why that became controversial. Here is a national senator the day before the election criticizing the coalition for aligning with Family First.
Family First are the lunatic right. They are not the sort of people you do preference deals with.
Can you guess who said it?
Oh my god. Was it gonna be like BJ or something? Oh, it's B! Barnaby Joyce.
Another appearance by the surprising voice of reason, Barnaby Joyce.
It's fucked. It's fucked. This man is such a drunkard. Like, how is he, like, just, like, reasonable sometimes?
Well, because he's a drunkard. Sometimes he
suppose
doesn't
so.
have the patience to...
He's like, I don't have the faculties to deal with the game.
like,
This
"Shut
is
up,
fucking
I can't."
stupid.
Did you read the pamphlet? He wants to burn
He's like,
down...
I had the biggest piss up last night. You can't be doing this right now.
Look at how many words. So, anyway, Danny's big prediction that got him in trouble came right after the Black Saturday bushfires, which God told him was going to happen via a dream. I guess Jesus was too busy to make a visit at 4:30 a.m. or whatever.
Well, Jesus was just like, Dad, you have to take this one because
Dad, he's
he
too
doesn't
powerful."
fucking listen to me.
God told him that the bushfires came because Victoria decriminalized abortion. Sorry, approved the slaughter of innocent children in the womb.
Wait, I remember
Yes.
this. I remember this.
This is that guy.
That's so funny. Didn't he also, maybe you'll...
No, go on. What do you reckon?
I was going to say, didn't he also talk about how, or maybe this was somebody else, There was another like a prophet or whatever who was like, yeah, all these bushfires are because of abortion and witches on Mount Ainslie cursing Canberra.
You do know what's coming. So after Danny is cut loose from Family First because he is absolutely toxic, he makes a startling discovery. A black mass, where school students have created an altar to summon Satan to cast spells on federal parliament. He has asked 100 Christians to descend on the side of the evil gay witches, and you've already guessed where it is, Mount Ainslie.
Which is where we got married.
Yes, which is where we got married, in Canberra, a hill in Canberra. According to Danny, these school students had already convinced Satan to take over politicians. From the news.com.au article,
Asked what evidence of Satan there was in Parliament, Mr. Nalia said,
the number of politicians who have serious marriage problems.
He continued,
Me trying to explain it to you is like trying to teach a cricketer how to play soccer.
what the fuck, man?
It's like, that's not hard. Cricketers know how to play soccer.
It's you've spoken about sports that are like generally popular, I suppose.
I think his biggest hit was in 2011 when he predicted the Queensland floods at 8 p.m. on Friday and the 7th of January thanks to a visit from the Holy Spirit. So he's got all of them.
Oh, hey, trifecta.
It's actually called a Trinity. Glad I pulled that one out.
Nice one.
So in an article titled, Are the Queensland floods the result of Kevin Rudd speaking against Israel? He says, yes, they are. This is because Kevin Rudd asked Israel to join the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. He then signs off with, I quote, your bro in Christ, Pastor Danny Nalia.
Calls a press conference, brings a chair around and sits backwards on it. Hey guys, I just thought we could rap a little bit about how Kevin Rudd encouraging Israel to sign the non-proliferation agreement is, I don't know, pretty unradical if you ask me.
That's probably why those floods happened.
Probably why those floods happened.
Well, actually, no. God told me that's why he was sending floods, and I'm telling you now. It's like, you should have told us before the floods.
You didn't tell us before the floods, and he's just like, you deserved it. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. So at this point, he's made the Rise Up Australia party, which is, I think, where this picture's from.
Right.
Of him doing a fucking Black Power salute.
You know?
And he wants to stop the fall of the Judeo-Christian West to the Muslim hordes or whatever.
Classic.
One of his articles starts with like, have you noticed that multiculturalism starts with multi-cult?
And here's something that'll really blow your minds. Did you know that Santa and Satan have the same letters?
God, this is facts, though. Boy, this is facts.
Dressed in red.
Speak on it, Karen.
Dressed in red. Oh my god. Oh my god, and he's gonna give things to your children. He's breaking into your house and he's giving things to your children.
What's he giving to your children, Karen?
Oh my god.
Speak on it, Karen.
Oh my god, you
Spirit
won't
of the
know.
Lord.
You won't know. Oh god, Lord above, please tell me. But like, it's
Yeah.
what the.
So Danny's providing like extremely low risk prophecy, explaining why things happened, but lying about it, right?
Yeah, like, you know, oh, I tripped down the stairs on this day, and he tells me, yeah,
He told me I was.
I actually knew that you were gonna trip, but it's because you're ungodly.
Yeah, it's because you're ungodly.
Yeah, and I
'cause of
couldn't tell you
gays.
about it because then you might have tried to prevent it, but it's
might have
just not
tried to
God's
stop
will.
it. So the question is like, what's the attention coming from, right? Like, there's only so many kooks and they only have so much money.
Yeah.
It shouldn't come as any surprise that his notoriety, Danny's notoriety, owes much to the patronage of a much wealthier grifter, Christopher Walter Monckton, 3rd Viscount Monckton of Bletchley, an official weird-looking cunt.
Ew! I'm sorry. Shouldn't say that about. Why does he look like a rat that's been like made hairless?
Yeah, he looks like a rat.
He looks
like you've just pulled its tail and its face has shrunk into itself a little.
Yeah, so like you've pulled its tail, its face has shrunken into itself a little, but also like it's like you've shaved a rat, like,
Yeah.
or it's got like some sort of like condition.
Yeah, it's a rat with a condition. He's a British like high society guy, like he's a peer or whatever. He was
So probably inbred.
he was Margaret Thatcher's senior science officer.
So definitely inbred.
According to Christopher, he was a bag carrier in her office, according to others. His main thing is climate change denial, I guess. And he seems to fly around the world, leading faux legitimacy to climate skeptics by introducing himself as like a British peer. Being like, I'm Christopher Monckton, 3rd Viscount Monckton or whatever.
Fucking stupid.
For what it's worth, he's not in the Epstein files, but his sister is, who apparently set Epstein up on a date with Princess Diana back in the day.
Whoa.
Anyway,
Fuck off about it.
Christopher Monckton. Like, he's at the Rise Up Australia launch, then the next year he's at a mayoral election in the city of Casey. He publishes an article supporting the anti-mosque, anti-gay campaign of Rosalie Cristani, which includes this gem.
Official survey after official survey.
This is Christopher Monckton, 3rd Viscount Monckton.
Official survey after official survey had shown that homosexuals had an average of 500 to 1,000 partners in their sexually active lifetime, and that some had as many as 20,000.
Folks, we need to get moving. 500 is... I have to get up. My average is not 500.
You know?
Some as high as 20,000. The only person who's ever claimed that is Wilt Chamberlain.
Noted homosexual.
Noted homosexual, Wilt Chamberlain and Genghis Khan. Gay-ass Genghis Khan.
The gayest men in the world. Wilt Chamberlain and...
Genghis Khan. But yeah, we're going to end up with a couple of like one-hit wonders, brief flash-in-the-pan maniacs, and something slightly seedier. So one of these is Alan John Jesus Miller of Divine Truth Industries. He's basically like, I am Jesus, and my wife is Mary, is his thing. Here's him talking
like
to...
Mary Magdalene or Mary the mother?
Mary Magdalene.
Nice, okay, cool. I was about to be like, come on, man.
You can't marry your
rough.
mother, no. Here's him talking to Vice.
Okay. I had memories of somebody putting nails through my feet and through my wrists. I remember being speared, being threatened, and being beaten on a number of occasions, almost to the point of death.
And so he starts telling everybody that he's Jesus. He's like, all my friends stop talking to me.
Yeah, man, look.
My family don't accept that I'm Jesus.
Yeah,
but I know
man.
I'm Jesus. I have to live my truth.
Come on.
And then he predicts like 100-foot tidal waves, and he has some disciples who were briefly like a proper cult, but that seems to have died down. Like a lot of the people moved away again.
Yeah, because I imagine when he could not like prove any kind of like divine being, they were just like, oh, I gave up my life for this.
I gave up my
I'm
life.
going
for this.
home.
Yeah, and he's like, you know, they seem pretty like chill and like modern. They're mega churchish.
They do look kind of like, they are a type of I think I'm Jesus people that I can see as being like, they're a lot more like loosey-goosey with it. Like I imagine they smoke weed. Like they look like the kind of people who think they're Jesus and smoke weed.
They might.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't not believe it. What I find most amazing though is that, as is often the case, AJ was caught plagiarizing from a century-old preacher. This guy's named James Paget, right? Who was writing down some stuff that Jesus was telling him. So when AJ is caught, he says, well, I told him those things, so I can't be accused of plagiarizing because I'm Jesus. Here's 7 News quoting him.
I'm Jesus. Deal with it.
7 News.
That's fucking insane. Also, like, what you... People are just like, hey, man, you're stealing prophecies from, like, this guy from, like, decades ago. And he's like, I'm not stealing prophecies. I told him that shit in the first place because I'm Jesus.
I don't know if you were listening.
I don't know if you know this about me, but I told him that he's actually been, like, taking my words. Now I'm taking them back. I'm reclaiming my words.
Apparently, when he met his wife, he, like, was this itinerant preacher going to people's houses, and they're, like, atheists. And then he's like, your daughter's actually Mary Magdalene. And she marries him or whatever. It's weird.
That is so bad.
Anyway.
That is so bad. That is so bad.
She's like younger than him, but in her 20s at the time or something.
That's so bad.
So that's Divine Truth. You know about the magic box in Uluru?
No.
The box that the Pleiadians from another star system embedded in its core?
Oh, the Pleiadian box. Oh, of course I know about the box that was implanted in Uluru, the Pleiadian box, of course.
The Earth solar plex chakra in and under Uluru waiting to be activated by pure-hearted Australians.
Where are they going to find any of them?
Well, it's apparently going to take 80,000 of them, according to the Aboriginal elders who definitely made this prophecy.
Come on.
Here's the acknowledgement of country at the bottom of the website I got this from.
I acknowledge the traditional owners of country throughout Australia and recognise their continuing connection to land, waters and culture. We pay our respects to the elders past, present and emerging for their continued guidance as we all move to 5D Earth. Gadigal, gadigal, gadigal.
As we move to 5D Earth. And, like, she's presenting this prophecy as coming from an Aboriginal elder, which, like... don't worry, it's not.
Yeah, no shit. What are you talking about?
just nonsense. That's just nonsense. Like it's like that's just a schizophrenic person. So it's not based on any actual songline or lore or anything like that.
Yeah.
Just like yoga teachers and marketing professionals. This lady's a yoga teacher and marketing professional. And on that, finally.
Such a foul and terrible combination that just like breeds insanity in people.
Yes. Yoga is marketing for liberalism. Not saying anything further. Anyway, there's finally Barbara Miller, founder of Indigenous Friends of Israel, alongside her husband Norman.
Well, there they are.
Their main thing seems to be pushing Holocaust and anti-Semitism education down from year 9 to year 1. That's like their main thing. It's like, yeah, we've got like child-friendly Holocaust education, and that's our biggest imperative, right? So we spoke a little about the cadre of prominent... Oh, so Barbara's white. She's like a white Christian. Norman's
Yeah, Indigenous.
I can tell. No, but like, you know, but like Barbara could be someone who like... Okay,
Not
yeah.
with that fringe.
No, you're right. Barbara's white, Norman's Indigenous. And yeah, we spoke about like Nova Paris, Noel Pearson, Marshall Langton, and Norman's one of them too, right? So Barbara's long been predicting that the spirit of Joseph will enter the dry bones of Aboriginal people and they're going to rise up like a mighty army for the Lord, or whatever.
The dry bones?
Yeah, she keeps saying that the spirit of Joseph and then something dry bones of Aboriginal people. I don't know, like, I don't know if she's saying like...
Do they have to be...
Well, is it
They
like
have to be dry?
skeletons? Like, is she saying that the spirit
like-
of... Is she talking about actual dried bones?
Oh.
That's the thing. She's vague about it. You got to be vague about it. This is going to lead to Australia being judged as a sheep nation
We are.
for treating the Jewish people well, unlike
Okay.
the gays who want to lead us to Sharia law.
Of course.
That's basically the gist
Classic.
of things. Here's them with... so Norman's an artist who paints boomerangs.
Got it. Wow.
So what's on this boomerang?
Wow. Well, this is a huge boomerang. Like, this is
Yeah,
taller
he-
than
he-
any person
He
you've ever
paints
seen.
big boomerangs.
Like, this is huge. Okay, it's being held by 3 people. One of them is not...
one of the Millers. He's
yeah.
a representative of...
Well, so what we have is we have a boomerang. It's been painted with some dot work. On the far left, it's got Amos 9:11 to 15.
I'll bring that up.
Then we've got some red and yellow dots. On the far right side, we have Psalm 122, again with some red and yellow dots. And then in the center, we have a white base with some blue dot work and a big Star of David in the middle. That's just the Israel flag.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is a big boomerang with the Israeli flag in the middle of it. And he claims he's made it to give to Benjamin Netanyahu and the Israeli Prime Minister Herzog, who's coming here. But he had to settle for the Deputy Foreign Minister. Not too bad. Anyway, they're old and
Devastating.
loopy, so like we can leave them alone. Like these are true like just old people who are trying to cope by being fucking insane. For what it's worth, Amos 9:11. But also on that judgment day, I will restore David's house that has fallen into pieces. I will repair the holes in the roof, replace the broken windows, fix it up like new. David's people will be strong again and seize what's left of the enemy Edom, plus everybody else under my sovereign judgment. Yes, indeed, it won't be long now. So basically, like, the Israelites are going to take the land back or whatever.
Yeah, 15 is just like Amos 9:15 is just, I will plant Israel in their own land, never to be uprooted from the land I have given them.
Yeah, so we know, like fucking insane people. And then
Psalm
Psalm
122
122 is about Jerusalem, and the tribes go to Jerusalem, and then there's peace within the walls and security within the citadels, and God will give Jerusalem prosperity.
Classic.
So, like, this is pathetic shit, but they had Indigenous Friends of Israel, and that's, like, yeah, that's what we're going to leave it there. Kieran, any prophecies you have for us?
Any prophecies that I have? I prophesize that Anthony Albanese will die at 78 because he has been hit by a car.
All right, that's a pretty good one.
Because he's always getting hit by cars, and
Yeah.
I feel like he's going to make it to be, like, pretty old.
Okay. I'm prophesizing that it's going to turn out that Peter Dutton's had a bald cap on this whole time.
Oh my god! Okay,
Over a bald head.
He's just embarrassed by his bald head, so he put a bald cap on it. He's like, no one will ever know my secret. I prophesize that there will be, in the next 5 years, another, like, Belle Gibson-style Australian woman who will fake a terminal illness for money.
I think what's real is that out of the probably few hundred Australian people, I reckon probably disproportionately women, but not so much so, that are currently presenting themselves as ill and receiving money for it, hoping to parlay it into a book deal. Right? That's a career for like a few hundred people in this country.
Yes.
Right? And a few of them are going to be outed as not actually being ill.
Yeah.
I prophesize that Smith Wigglesworth is going to wiggle on down to the Sydney Opera House and spread his legs over the Sydney. I don't know.
Yeah, I prophesize that I'm going to be possessed by the spirit of just like everybody and everything. And so when I start my cult, I can tell you that I actually knew everything and know everything at the same time.
Well, that's true. And you can't plagiarize anything because you are everything.
Because I am everything, and I
that's
have been possessed by everyone.
That's a great loophole. It's like, well, this was clearly, like, you're looking at something really good, and you're like, well, this was clearly divinely ordained, and I am Jesus, who is God, and so I really wrote this.
Yeah, so I did this, which is, like, crazy, because I think it's really good. I mean, obviously, because I do good work, but, you know, tell the good news, everybody.
But that's our episode for the day.
That was incredible. I had so much fun.
You know, it was mainly something that I was hoping to throw together in between the Bobcatter episodes to give me more time to write part 3. But I think it has actually conceptually led into a lot of what Bob talks about, and also some things about Indigenous resistance that we'll talk about in part 3.
Yeah, that was fascinating. That was really, really interesting.
Yeah, they're really interesting. They're really interesting stories, and there's plenty of like tellings, like, from Indigenous people. There's also like plenty of anthropological accounts, which, you know, you can take or leave, especially depending on how long ago they were and who's doing them.
Yeah, and some of them are a rough read.
Exactly.
I know that from some of the ones I looked at.
Exactly. So that's all for today. If you have any prophecies, please let us know by emailing us at shouldntacome@gmail.com. We would love to hear your prophecies and predictions.
Unless you've already emailed us, because even without hearing this episode, you've prophesized that we are seeking input from you.
If you get the word from God to subscribe to Shouldntacome on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts, follow us on Patreon, patreon.com/shouldntacome, and you can tithe.
You can tithe. I foresee in your future tithing. Yes, I see it here now. Yes, of course.
If you're in a satanic witch cabal meeting on Mount Ainslie,
where's my fucking invite?
And we're on YouTube, youtube.com/@shouldntacome. And we'll see you next week, everybody. I hope you had a fun time this episode, a bit less serious.
So much fun.
And we'll see you later. Bye. I've been Yanni.
I've been Kieran.
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 I've been Yanni.